Alte, cominciamo pure. Io sono Nicola Scomparin di ProMIS e vi ringraziamo per la partecipazione, ma soprattutto ringraziamo Magdalena Cimeris della DG Ricerca e Innovazione della Commissione Europea, la quale oggi ci parlerà di quello che viene nominato ora dalla Commissione europea le valli regionali dell'innovazione e quindi di tutto quell'ecosistema dell'innovazione europea, di questo macro contenitore che viene chiamato ecosistema dell'innovazione europea. La nostra iniziativa, il webinar di oggi, parte sostanzialmente da questo invito a manifestare l'interesse per lo sviluppo per le regioni di diventare valli regionali dell'innovazione che abbiamo intercettato, la cui scadenza è prevista per il 18 settembre. Cos'è? Semplicemente la compilazione di un questionario nel quale le regioni vengono invitate a definire quali sono le loro sfide che in qualche modo vogliono intercettare nell'ambito appunto dell'ecosistema dell'innovazione per migliorare la propria competitività, le proprie strategie di innovazioni regionali. Ovviamente in che modo? La parola che in qualche modo ci piace ultimamente è la parola sinergia, quindi non soltanto da un punto di vista di tematico, ma anche dal punto di vista soprattutto di finanziamento. E quindi come questa iniziativa in qualche modo sia coerente e sia in linea con altre iniziative della Commissione europea, che appunto sono le strategie di specializzazione intelligente, nazionali e regionali, i partenariati per l'innovazione regionale, nonché i fondi strutturali. Tutto questo parte dalla nuova agenda europea per l'innovazione, recente della Commissione europea, però mi sono già dilungato troppo. Prima di ringraziare nuovamente Magdalena, invito tutti voi, per chi non lo avesse già fatto, di scaricare, per chi volesse beneficiare della traduzione italiano simultanea dall'inglese all'italiano, l'app LiveVoice. Dopo averla scaricata basta inserire il codice 873848 per seguire l'intervento della relatrice. Vi invitiamo a tenere, e chiudo, da un punto di vista tecnico, microfoni e video chiusi. Poi ci sarà tutto il tempo per le domande da portare alla relatrice. Quindi, Magdalena, thank you very much. The floor is yours. Thank you again for being here with us. So let me know if you would share by your own the presentation. Otherwise, we are ready to share the slide.
If you could share it, will be, I think, easier for me if it's not a problem. Thank you. I hope that the translation will work well. For the introduction, it worked well for me, so hopefully
Perfect.
the participants will be also able to follow. I still don't see any presentation.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, good.
Let me just 1 second. Okay. Can you see it?
Slowly something is changing, but not. Yes, now. Perfect.
Ok.
Yes, thank you. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. Today, I will present you the new European Innovation Agenda and, in particular, Regional Innovation Valleys Initiative. My name is Magdalena Cimeres. I work in DG Research and Innovation in the unit responsible for innovation policy and access to finance. And I'll guide you through the steps to understand and hopefully to apply for our call that we designed for mainly regional authorities, but not only. So in the next slide, please, you'll see how we designed the new European Innovation Agenda, which was published last year in July. Now we celebrate 1 year of the implementation of the agenda, where we design it into 5 flagships with 25 main actions. Here you see the main flagships. So the first one is deep tech scale-ups, where we try to encourage or boost the ecosystem in Europe to found and to invest in deep tech startups. The second one is about experimentation spaces and public procurements, where we also try to enable the deep tech innovation through these areas. The flagship 3 is the most relevant for us today, focusing on European innovation ecosystems and addressing innovation divide, where we parked the regional innovation action that we will speak about today. Then we have a flagship on deep tech talent, where we focus on attracting and retaining talent in Europe, also focusing on women innovators. So then, if you're interested, please check our website with the relevant actions. So maybe you will also be able to participate in other ones. And the last flagship is on policymaking tools. Maybe some of you have heard of newly established in last year the EIC Forum with different working groups where we want to engage with member states, but also ecosystem stakeholders to contribute to our policies. So in the next slide, please, I will present the burning challenges that were identified in the European Innovation Agenda. And these are the main challenges we're trying to address in Europe through the Regional Innovation Valleys Call, but not only. So these topics are reducing the reliance on fossil fuels, increasing global food security, mastering digital transformation, including cybersecurity, a very hot topic recently. Then achieving circularity, and here, last but not least, improving healthcare, that I believe you're the most interested in today. So in the next slide, please. You could see how we design regional innovation valleys around these topics, but not only. We are trying to bring together regions from different levels of development. Then I will explain more in detail in the call requirements. We're also trying to encourage the development and deployment of innovation, and mostly focusing on deep tech innovation. And the overall policy objective is to establish up to 100 regions named regional innovation valleys. I can then explain you further the methodology and rationale behind this, but as it was announced in March this year, jointly by Commissioner Ferreira, responsible for regional policy, and Commissioner Gabriel, responsible for research and innovation, and Committee of Regions. This is a joint effort of the EU institutions to reinforce the innovation throughout Europe, to make innovation flourish, and also to address this innovation divide by working together less and more innovative regions. In the next slide, please, I explain in detail how actually regions can become regional innovation valleys. So there are two main channels. The first one that is open, and we encourage all the regional authorities, but also managing authorities or regional innovation agencies to apply for the call for expression of interest, which is an EU survey through which you can declare first that you're willing to work towards these objectives and that you want to put forward essential commitments to become regional innovation valleys. And then really in the upcoming days, our interactive map is almost ready when we will be displaying all the interested regions with the contact details where you can easier find relevant consortium members or partners for the Regional Innovation Valley Initiative or for any other interregional innovation projects. Then the second part on how to become a regional innovation valley would be to become a successful applicant through call for proposals, both under Horizon Europe on the EIE work program, so European Innovation Ecosystems work program. And that's the call that I will describe today in detail since my unit works on the establishment of this action. And then we have I3 instrument, the one implemented by DG Regio under the cohesion policy. So interregional innovation investments will not be described in detail today by me. However, we designed a joint info day with colleagues from the implementation agency that will be in charge of evaluation and also DG Regio. So already now I encourage you to look for the link and to go through a very detailed description about these actions and some practical tips about the implementation. So in the next slide, please, just to clarify what does it mean the European innovation ecosystems. So as you may know, under Horizon Europe, we have 3 pillars. Pillar 1 for excellent science, then Pillar 2 with global challenges and clusters mainly. And under Pillar 3, this is where our European innovation ecosystems are parked. And I encourage you also to check the website to better understand the architecture and ideas behind this program. So in the next slide, we explain precisely what this action under the EIE co-found call for proposals look like. So there are two main components. One is coordination and support part, where we really focus on creation interconnected ecosystems through a number of activities. Here we named only indicative areas, such as, for example, market uptake of research, support to companies in scaling up their ideas, demonstrating deep tech technologies and real-world environments, also access to cross-border infrastructure and expertise. We would also see and welcome activities regarding to exchange of staff, training and skills development, as well as developing standards and regulations through sandboxes and testbeds. In the other part, we have the innovation action component, where we really we're looking for 3 to 4 interregional innovation projects in thematic areas. This might be, let's say, the core, the juice of the proposals that where we try to enhance this directionality within the named areas. Here, again, your preferred area, as I understand, would be to improve healthcare. And because this action is the first time we're running it, so it's a novelty both for the Commission as for the stakeholders, we really count on your creativity. the call text and the legal base of it was explicitly meant to be a bit broad, to also test what regions can bring to this innovative call, let's say, because as such it's actually pretty open, but then with some rules that I will guide you through in the next slides. So in the next slides, I pointed out some frequently asked questions that we've been receiving. They're also publicly available on the website, so I also invite you to read from them. They're available in English, but also we're happy to clarify any aspects if needed. So yeah, the most frequently asked question is, so how precisely to become this Valli, this regional innovation Valli? So the keyword here is region. So who will get the label will be a region. It cannot be a university. It cannot be a stakeholder from the ecosystem. It should be a regional authority. We've been also receiving questions about what is a regional authority. So we consulted legal services. Now we have a tailored definition for this call. I'm also happy to explain it further if needed. So yeah, mostly the label would be awarded in two ways: call for proposals or an advanced evaluation of the call for expression of interest that would be run in parallel starting from October 17, so after the call closure. In the next slide, please. So yeah, here are the minimum requirements on how the consortium should be structured in order to be eligible to be admitted to the evaluation. So this action requires at least 5 national regional authorities from at least 5 different member states or associated countries to Horizon Europe. 2 of them needs to be moderate or emerging innovator, and at least 1 a strong or innovation leader. Here, let me remind you that the Regional Innovation Scoreboard, it's a reference we use both for the minimum eligibility criteria and for the innovation category. It has been published and updated for 2023 last week. So if you haven't heard of it, I invite you to also check what is your region score, and also make sure that when applying, you apply from an appropriate level. So for those, maybe, I hope you're familiar with it, but in the regional categorization, we have NUTS 1, 2, and 3. So by default, the Regional Innovation Scoreboard refers to NUTS 2 level, which is, let's say, the main category we refer to. But then depending on the size of the country, it can vary. So we will also take it case by case with experts knowledgeable in the scoreboard, also in the typology of the geographic territories. So yeah, so that's the minimum composition, and then of course consortium can grow and invite on board other stakeholders, other more regions or research and technology organizations, as long as all of the partners can provide the 50% of the co-fund. But this will be explained in next slide. So in the next slide, please. I will also explain this FSTP, so financial support to third parties, that it's not an obligatory component of this call, but it's highly encouraged, especially in the innovation actions when through the interregional projects would be ideal to engage with other innovation ecosystem stakeholders. So here, the maximum amount to be granted to individual third parties is indicated here with the funding rate of 50% of eligible costs. So the co-found rule applies throughout both components, both coordination and support part and innovation actions. This one is really aiming to support concrete interregional projects undertaken by research and innovation entities. Here we count on your creativity on who to engage with and how to find relevant stakeholders. In the next slide, please. Here we were asked about the average project size and the amount of funding envisaged. So here, the first bulk of this initiative commits 60 million in total for this round of calls, open until 17th of October. And we are envisaging to found more or less 6 projects with the funding between 8 and 12 million. Pardon, je suis en train de présenter. Vous pouvez fermer la porte? Merci. Sorry, I'm in the office and someone entered. So yeah, here, back to the budget. So yeah, it will be 8 to 12 million of consortium. So here in parallel, we need to envisage that the remaining 50% of the consortium would be able to find the remaining 50%. And again, each project will have to conduct at least 3 interregional projects, allocating at least 50% of total eligible cost to them. In the next slide, please. Here I put the reference to the Regional Innovation Scoreboard and European Innovation Scoreboard in a case if national authorities apply, which is also an option. And please, as a reminder, check the most recent version that was published last week. In the next slide, I will explain the letter of intent, because here again, stakeholders were concerned about how to ensure the funding in time and how to commit about the possibility of co-finance the remaining 50%. For the simplicity of the administrative burden, we would ask only one letter of intent. The coordinator will have to submit it with the proposal. And on the later stage, in the grant agreement preparation phase, we will ask you for the letter of commitment, which would be a concrete commitment that should be also mirroring what you have promised in the letter of intent. This will give time to territories and to all the consortium members to find concrete sources of this complementary funding. So the first letter of intent is an indicative, duly signed and dated letter. And then the letter of commitment on the grant agreement preparation level would be a concrete commitment during the grant agreement signature. In the next slide, please. You will find this terminology of annual work program that is mentioned in our legal base. It basically means that it's the main document that constitutes your application form. So it's the part B of the proposal, and it should provide a detailed description of activities and initial and each successive 12-month period of the project. This should include both activities to be carried out and also have a very indicative but still detailed timeline for the implementation, and it's a key part of the proposal. Here, again, if you're planning to submit it, please ensure that all the directionality, all the challenges, all the activities we're asking for are clearly explained. So then when experts receive your proposal, they don't have any doubts. As you may know, the evaluators cannot go back to you with some questions. So clarity in this case is the key for your success. On the next slide, please. Yeah, I think it's actually the last question closing my introduction, my description part. So it's not mandatory to apply for the call for expression of interest. So the EU survey we designed for territories. If you apply, you can benefit of a matchmaking process, and you you your region will be visible, and mm, you might increase your chances of being contacted by also other consortia working in the same fields. But again, it's just a policy action. It's not any legally binding action. While submitting it, you should also know that you should tick and agree to display your personal data. So preferably your work address, email address, and official names, so then you can be easily identified. But yeah, it's just our additional action and not a incorporated component of the EIE call. So with this, I'm closing my presentation, and I'm happy to take your questions if any. And of course, I hope that organizers know that they can share this presentation with all participants so they can also study it, and if needed, come back to us. Thank you.
Grazie mille Maddalena, spero che la traduzione funzioni, ma da quanto sappiamo un po' di italiano lo conosci. Allora, la presentazione è stata breve ma ricca di input, dove sostanzialmente emergono tre punti fondamentali, prima di lasciare la parola a uno di voi per le domande. Volevo emergere sostanzialmente queste tre cose. Al centro del focus dell'Unione Europea, della Commissione Europea, ci sono le regioni, cosa che per noi di ProMIS, essendo una rete di regioni, ci interessa molto, e per questo siamo sicuramente molto interessati. Dall'altro, questa iniziativa vede una serie di sottoiniziative, di livelli, diciamo, di inclusione in questo ecosistema europeo, di ecosistemi di innovazioni regionali di diverse difficoltà e diverse, diciamo, step, dove in qualche modo attraverso il questionario, la call for interest, la cui scadenza è il 18 settembre, è molto più facile e in qualche modo dà alla Commissione una mappatura dell'ecosistema regionale, ma c'è anche la possibilità ovviamente di aderire alla call, di partecipare alla call, dove sicuramente è un sistema più complesso, dove diversi ecosistemi in qualche modo dovrebbero interagire tra di loro per una serie di iniziative. Di queste iniziative, vado al terzo punto, che in qualche modo vedono un commitment forte del livello amministrativo, del livello regionale, per essere una vera e propria riconosciuta ecosistema dell'innovazione, perché ci deve essere in qualche modo la necessità di lavorare con le altre strategie regionali messe a disposizione dalla Commissione europea. Quindi sicuramente questo è molto, molto importante. E quindi lascio la parola diciamo, a chi vuole intervenire. Anticipo io una domanda, che è anche un po' il sottotitolo di questo tema, di questo webinar, che è una delle sfide. Quindi, se eventualmente è possibile, Magda, fare un accenno alle sfide, alle cinque sfide elencate nella call for interest, soprattutto in quella dell'assistenza sanitaria, diciamo quali possono essere i temi interessanti, o se eventualmente la sfida dell'assistenza sanitaria in qualche modo deve essere sottolineata in maniera esplicita nel questionario. Ecco, questa è la domanda. E congiuntamente, se una regione che vuole manifestare la propria proposta può applicare a più sfide, quindi può flaggare più link, non solo ad una sfida sola.
Okay, thank you. I noted down just the two questions. So pause the
Please
translation.
reply.
Yes. So about the health challenge, I'm aware that you're interested in some concrete examples. Because it's a pilot, we don't have yet examples of how the health sector can support the Regional Innovation Valleys initiative. But there are some sectorial high-level meeting groups that are actually working already or tailoring this call for their um, sector needs and potential guidance that it might be provided to their stakeholders. For now, the most active stakeholder is actually a bioeconomy sector, so it might be your friend, let's say, in terms of thematics. The note, actually, the guidance note on the bioeconomy sector supporting regional innovation valleys should be published unfortunately already in September, because it's a huge process when first of all, if a sectorial unit or body, also as your organization, thinks that it might be useful for them to have a specific and tailored guidance, it's good actually to prepare a note or a tailored, also to collect potential activities that might be eligible. As I mentioned here, the deep tech is really in the core. Also, the expected TRL levels for this call are quite high. This is the technology readiness levels that are in between 6 and 8. So the outcome of innovation interregional projects should actually be already ready to go on the market. So this is one of the things that I would actually advise to you, but I also promise that in parallel, I will contact our sectorial colleagues to maybe collaborate with you. But it will be very useful if you find a need of tailored guidance on your challenge. You can reach out to me in written, so then I can treat your, let's say, request and take it from there. As you know, because it's a institutional process, it will not be available immediately, but you can count on me to support you. My unit is more horizontal, so we take care of the whole design, the legal base, but we're here also to support you if you find it necessary for your stakeholders. And here again, as a positive note, let's say it's a pilot, but we still have remaining 40 million. So even if you think you're not ready to apply for this call, there are still 4 million remaining and potential leftovers, depending on how much budget we consume for this year, to be published in the upcoming year. So here again, it's a learning process both for you and for us. So if you find it necessary to reinforce the thematic focus on health, please let us know and we can collaborate. It would be rather a collaboration. It wouldn't be only commission working for you. It would be really, we also need the territorial experience to better understand what you're doing. And then, of course, experts that we will recruit, independent experts, will be knowledgeable on your topic. There will be sectorial experts that know what they're reading. We're more here, we work as a legislator, creating a legal base for you to be able to work. So this is the first reply. And then the other one was about the call for expression of interests, about so they might, so there will be a few things because you also mentioned, I believe in your introduction, also the collaboration with the PRIs, so the Partnerships for Regional Innovation. This is the action not fully, how to say, we are collaborating with colleagues with Joint Research Center, GRC, and they will actually help us to then, first of all, work with regions in this kind of capacity building and reinforced matchmaking. I can informally tell you it's not published yet, but most likely in September we'll organize an online workshop for all the territories that are or part of the PRI, so the Partnerships for Regional Innovation, or who have applied to the call for expression of interest. So this is, let's say, an additional service that we want to give to territories to support them to better understand and to meet with their sectorial friends, colleagues, potential partners to better prepare the call. It should be already, because September it's of course close to the call deadline on the 17th of October. We expect territories to already come with some concrete ideas and examples. Then about the challenge per region, it is possible that a region enhances different thematic areas. This can be indicated through the EU survey in the way that you can pick your main challenge and then indicate other challenges. If you have any questions or problems filling the survey, we're also here to assist you. We're aware that, well, the complexity of the survey is advanced, but how it's being designed is basically you should the essential two parts are to indicate who you are, so which entity do you represent, because this determines whether you will be displayed or not. Because you cannot apply as Andrea. You have to apply as an entity that is eligible to become a regional innovation valley. So it should be a regional authority, but also we extended it to regional innovation agencies or managing authorities. We understand that the competencies to enhance the directionality of these challenges are not always with the regional authority. Sometimes they're delegated, the budget is delegated, or the task to other entities with the public mission endorsed, let's say, by the region. So this is why we leave this space for other entities. And if you have any, let's say, local regional specificity, you can also indicate other regional authority and then specify it. But please be as clear as possible. Of course, we'll come back to you in case something is not clear and we have some doubts. But to really smoothen the process and, let's say, to be fully on board from the submission moment, it's better to really be very clear and also to coordinate. For example, we received 2 applications from the same regions, but from 2 colleagues. Maybe before submitting, talk to your colleagues in some meetings to verify who does what. Maybe there are 2 sectorial different sectors, and this is completely normal and eligible to submit 2 different applications per region if this is really, let's say, divided and specific for your region. If you prefer to apply as one, please be as clear in the survey as you can, indicating the main burning challenge, and then in the other, you have the possibility to also indicate that. And we're working now with the IT and web team to make it as clear as possible and user friendly, so the information doesn't get lost. And of course, once you're in our database, the sectorial colleagues will be able to reach out to you. The colleagues managing the workshops, matchmaking activities. So I think it's rather beneficial for you to join in any case.
Very clear.
Thank you.
Very, very clear. Let me passo alla seconda domanda. Grazie. Passo alla seconda domanda che viene da una dei partecipanti relativamente alla call, quindi del 17 ottobre, dove sostanzialmente chiede se per partecipare alla call bisogna prendere come riferimento il Regional Innovation Scoreboard pubblicato a luglio, quindi se in qualche modo obbligatorio partire da, diciamo, da quel livello di classificazione in cui la regione stessa è inserita.
Yes, as also it's a good slide displayed now. So the applicants must use a reference to the latest version of the scoreboard presented. So it was published only last week. Maybe nothing has changed for your region, but in case it was upgraded, hopefully not downgraded, you will be able to assess the eligibility criterion that then in October would be the regional innovation scoreboard is the main reference for the eligibility. And also maybe when finding your partners, make sure that they have the understanding of their latest status, because to really avoid some unpleasant situation that the minimum, we need some, let's say, legal threshold, the baseline where we establish the quality and complexity of the consortium. We realize it's a quite complex exercise. That's why the call is open for some long time. And we're also, when we can, we participate and explain everything in detail. The September workshop, I think, will be the ultimate test for the very deep understanding on how, in practical terms, you can implement, and potentially also how to be the most clear in your proposal. So yeah, this is my reply.
Thank you, grazie per la domanda. Allora, il tema è molto ampio, abbiamo visto che ci sono molti aspetti. Tutti quelli che hanno partecipato, suppongo, abbiate ricevuto nelle vostre caselle di posta l'invito contenente un link al nostro sito dove ci sono tutte le informazioni, tutti i link e quant'altro. Lì caricheremo a brevissimo la slide presentata, nonché il link all'Info Day che la Commissione Europea ha organizzato il 13 di giugno, che contiene molte più informazioni, perché ovviamente è diciamo, un evento che è durato molto più a lungo, che ha avuto molti relatori, per cui ci sono anche lì focus sulle FAC, sugli European Innovation Scoreboard, sulla call, sull'agenda per l'innovazione, sulle regional innovation Valli, diciamo, le sinergie con i fondi di coesione e tutte le altre iniziative della Commissione Europea. Quindi caricheremo lì e vi manderemo il link dove visionare tutti questi documenti. Pertanto, se non ci sono altre domande, chiudiamo il webinar. Ringrazio nuovamente Magdalena, thank you very much, per la partecipazione, per l'esaustiva e sintetica presentazione, appunto, che contiene tanti elementi che ovviamente riguardano tutto il tema, tutto il macro tema dell'European Innovation Ecosystem. Perciò noi caricheremo le slide, ci sono i contatti per contattare, eventualmente sentiteci, noi vi gireremo le domande nel caso ne abbiate. Grazie ancora e buona giornata, grazie Magdalena. Arrivederci a tutti, grazie.
Thank you. Grazie.
Thank you, grazie.
Grazie.
Grazie, arrivederci.
Grazie, arrivederci.